Just a little preamble. I'm going to start the evening off with a topic that's really close to my heart. It's an important subject that's rarely talked about, if at all, which is shocking considering how common this actually is. For anyone in this room tonight who has in the past or who is currently now loving or supporting someone important to you through a mental illness, I hope you find solace in my words and take comfort in knowing you are not alone and you're doing an amazing job through this incredibly difficult ordeal. This is my experience, and it's not the same for everyone, but it is never, ever easy. There's an unspoken truth hanging on the horizon of an unheard demographic of hundreds of millions. There's an elephant the size of the moon in this room, and I want to let it be seen, set it free, let it breathe. Words aren't really enough to explain what it's like to love somebody with a debilitating mental illness, but I'll try and describe it so you can understand the depth of its realness. Because for every person with a diagnosis, there are countless loved ones living in its wake. Witnessing someone you love come completely undone is an agony of its own unique category. Watching their character change right before your eyes, seeing them dissociate, deteriorate, withdraw, and isolate, turning to drink or drugs to numb the pain is unbearable. A person who once walked with pride, who once lived with resolute and drive, who once upon a time had an appetite for life, now starving for joy and life's simple pleasures, devoid of the motivation to simply keep on living. The vibrancy that once emanated from their eyes dissolved into an empty stare. The mind irrevocably wounded and the spine arched under the weight of their trauma. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do. They're lost in the pits of an internalized hell, only able to see the impending doom under some kind of debilitating spell. And all you can do is hope and wait and disguise your own pain so that they don't feel the shame that sends them spiraling into their darkness once again. You keep your pain, your gut-wrenching grief, quiet. And somehow you keep on giving, pouring from a cup that's never truly replenished, is never quite full, living with the push-pull of the normalized state of living that is watching them suffer. It's a story of grief that will never be finished. When you've tried every conceivable technique to guide them to wellness, when you've exhausted your arsenal of positive and affirming language, when you've held their fragile, trembling hands and been the soft landing for their heartache, when you've led the injured horse to water through desert and rocky mountain terrain and they can't bring themselves to drink a single drop, when your feet are bloodied and bruised and you've abandoned yourself. You can only observe as they stand on the brink with toes tightly clenched and unable to think, on the precipice of another downward turn. How deep can this hole possibly go? You feel guilty that you can't fix it, and sometimes all you can do is sit in it with them and love them through it. It's a gaping wound that can't be closed, can't be seen. It's like a pressure cooker with no release, like standing inside the eye of a hurricane that never stops spinning. There's never any relief. The severity of the illness holds more weight than the pain of the person holding space for it. You feel selfish for even mentioning its collateral effects, as if the vice-like grip of the two giant hands clasped around your throat don't exist, nor the fists persistently jarring the soft space between your ribs. It's a room full of smoke and flames with no windows or doors. You can't cry out, you can't scream for help, but somehow you find the air in your lungs to breathe into theirs. And then the smoke clears and the heat wanes, but you know tomorrow you'll live this same fate again. Every day is unpredictable. You never know what you might be walking into, or which version of them you might be talking to. You find yourself calling the local hospitals when your phone calls aren't getting through. The days you see them smile or hear the laugh you miss so much, a glint of hope flickers like a tiny flame in the corner of an empty room. But it's fleeting, leaving behind a false sense of change, hope anchored in the black slick of a lonely sea. The heart can only withstand so much hollow hope. It's a giant fallen tree at your front door, a barricade to your own emotional freedom, and your whole life remains on hold. Push, pull, ebb, flow, hope, hell, hope, hell. It's a perpetual state of flight, searching for a runway with no lights. It's grieving the death of someone who is still alive. It's an unguided, helpless plight, and sometimes we just need someone to fight in our fucking corner with us, to let us cry in their arms, to sit in these feelings with us. We need something to alleviate the intensity, even just for a moment. I've been treading these murky waters for 15 years. 5,475 days, 131,000 hours, loving her through her mental devastation. Someone I love deeply. It never gets easier. The summit of this mountain seems to keep gaining height, and I am terrified of the final descent. When will the black crow relent and fly my mother home to me? If you are in the throes of loving someone to wellness or to their untimely death, I see you. I see you. You are not alone. You are important. You are remarkable, and you are so incredibly brave, because when some might choose to walk away, we choose to stay. And if you know somebody who is enduring this, please be a little softer, a little kinder, and hold a little more space for the person giving their all just to give someone they love a reason to stay alive. Thank you.